Saint Augustine commentary on the Gospel of John, chapter 3, verse 22 to 29 following. Evidently then, my brethren, it profits those men nothing to keep virginity, to have continence, to give alms. All those doings which are praised in the church profit them nothing, because they rend unity, namely that court of charity. What do they? Many among them are eloquent, great tongues, streams of tongues. Do they speak like angels? Let them hear the friend of the bridegroom, jealous of the bridegroom, not for himself. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, have not charity, I am become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 1. But what say they? We have baptism. You have, but not you. It is one thing to have, another to own. Baptism you have, for you have received to be baptized, received as one enlightened, provided you be not darkened of yourself. And when you give as a minister, not as owner, as a herald proclaiming, not as a judge. The judge speaks through the herald, and nevertheless it is not written in the registers, the herald said, but the judge said. Therefore see if what you give is yours by authority. But if you have received, confess with the friend of the bridegroom. The man can't receive anything except it be given him from heaven. Confess with the friend of the bridegroom. He that has the bride is the bridegroom, but the friend of the bridegroom stands and hears him. But oh, would you did stand and hear him and not fall to hear yourself? For by hearing him you would stand and hear, for you will speak and your head is puffed with pride. I, says the church, if I am the bride, if I have received pledges, if I have been redeemed at the price of that blood, do hear the voice of the bridegroom, and I do hear the voice of the bridegroom's friend too, if he give glory to my bridegroom, not to himself. Let the friend speak. He that has the bride is the bridegroom, but the friend of the bridegroom stands and hears him and rejoices greatly because of the voice of the bridegroom. Behold, you have sacraments, and I grant that you have. You have the form, but you are a branch cut off from the vine. You have a form, I want the root. There is no fruit of the form except where there is a root. But where is the root but in charity? Hear the form of the cut-off branches. Let one speak. Thou I know all mysteries, says he, and have all prophecy and all faith. And how great a faith! So as to remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing. Let no man tell you fables then. Pontius wrought a miracle, and Donatus spread, and God answered him from heaven. In the first place, either they are deceived or they deceive. In the last place, grant that he removes mountains, and have not charity, says the apostle. I am nothing. Let us see whether he has charity. I would believe that he had if he had not divided unity. For against those whom I may call marvel workers, my God has put me on guard, saying, in the last times there shall arise false prophets, doing signs and wonders to lead into error, if it were possible, even the elect. Lo, I have foretold it to you. Mark chapter 13, verse 22 and 23. Therefore the bridegroom has cautioned us that we ought not to be deceived even by miracles. Sometimes indeed a deserter frightens a plain countryman, but whether he is of the camp and whether he is the better of that character with which he is marked, is what he who would not be frightened or seduced attends to. Let us then, my brethren, hold unity. Without unity, even he who works miracles is nothing. The people Israel was in unity and yet wrought no miracles. Pharaoh's magicians were out of unity and yet they wrought the like works as Moses. Exodus chapter 7 verse 12. The people Israel, as I have said, wrought no miracles. Who were saved with God, they who did, or they who did not work miracles? The Apostle Peter raised a dead person. Simon Magus did many things. There were certain Christians who were not able to do either what Peter did or what Simon did, and wherein did they rejoice? In this, that their names were written in heaven. For this is what our Lord Jesus Christ said to the disciples on their return, because of the faith of the Gentiles. The disciples in truth themselves said, boasting, Behold, Lord, in your name even the devils are subject to us. Rightly indeed they confessed, they brought the honor to the name of Christ. And yet what does he say to them? Do not you glory in this, that the devils are subject to you, but rejoice that your names are written in heaven. Luke chapter 10 verse 17. Peter cast out devils. Some old widow, some lay person or other, having charity and holding the integrity of faith, forsooth does not do this. Peter is the eye in the body. That man is the finger, yet is he in the same body in which Peter is. And if the finger has less power than the eye, yet it is not cut off from the body. Better is it to be a finger and to be in the body than to be an eye and to be plucked out of the body. Therefore, my brethren, let no man deceive you, let no man seduce you. Love the peace of Christ, who was crucified for you, while he was God. Paul says, Neither he that plants is anything, neither he that waters, but God who gives the increase. 1 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 7. And does any of us say that he is something? If we say that we are something and give not the glory to him, we are adulterers. We desire ourselves to be loved, not the bridegroom. Love you Christ and us in him, in whom also you are beloved by us. Let the members love one another, but live all under the head. With grief indeed, my brethren, I have been obliged to speak much, and yet I have said little. I have not been able to finish the passage. God will help us to finish it in due season. I did not wish to burden your hearts further. I wish them to be free for sighs and prayers in behalf of those who are still deaf and do not understand,